Hey everybody, Jazzy here, back with part 2 of my guide to everything new with the arrival of WARLY, the newest character addition in Don't Starve Together. And today I am giving you the keys to the culinary Cadillac. That's right, I am giving you a comprehensive guide to all 19 new recipes that have just been added to the game. That includes 8 generic recipes that everybody can cook up in a regular crockpot, and 11 dishes that are only available to WARLY via his portable crockpot. As I said in the previous video, I was holding off on releasing this information immediately because Clay has been making numerous changes to the recipes and benefits in more recent updates. But at this point, I am really just itching to get this information to you as quickly as possible. So I will resign myself to the comments. Should any future updates affect the information contained here, I will post the changes in a pinned comment below. Also, I'm going to give my opinion on each dish, but I am very interested to hear what you think of the new recipes, and if there are any you really dig or find yourself making frequently, please share with me in the comments. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to begin with the generic recipes that any character is able to prepare in a crockpot. Asparagus soup requires 1 asparagus and an additional 1.5 veggies. Filler cannot be meat, twigs, or ice. You know, it's nice to get a veggie healing dish, but it's unfortunately not as versatile as its single-player version, which will accept practically any filler. Assuming you're not WARLY, if you don't need the health, just eating the cooked asparagus will give you more hunger. And if you're WARLY, just try to make the recipe as efficiently as possible. Mushrooms are a good second veggie if you don't want to waste farm food. Banana pop is a very nice recipe for health and sanity, and somewhat cheap, requiring 1 banana, 1 ice, and 1 twig. Filler can be anything but meat, like another twig. In Shipwrecked, this recipe was a godsend, and all the ingredients were plentiful in the world. Unfortunately, in DST, you can only get bananas in the caves, and you can only get ice in the overworld. But if you manage to bring ice to the ruins, it is cool to have another sanity food available. No pun intended. Ceviche requires 2 fish and 1 ice. Filler cannot be twigs or eggs. Please, don't make this dish. It's just as hunger efficient as eating the 2 fish raw. The 20 health is okay, but any fish recipe is going to have to compete with fish sticks, which restore 37.5 hunger and 40 health with just a single fish and twig. So unfortunately, ceviche falls into the same useless category as unagi. Just make fish sticks. Creamy potato puree requires 2 potatoes and 1 garlic. Filler cannot be meat, eggs, or twigs. If you're not WARLY, eating the cooked ingredients will restore almost 60 hunger and 41 health. So it makes 0 sense to sacrifice that efficiency for a very nominal sanity boost. Considering this is the only crockpot recipe that explicitly requires garlic, it's a shame that it's not very good. If you're WARLY, go ahead and make this if you're really hurting for sanity. Otherwise, if you get garlic in a farm, I'd honestly just save it for garlic powder. Fancy spiraled tubers requires just 1 potato and 1 twig. Filler can include 1 additional twig, but no meat. It's actually a very nice and cheap recipe for restoring sanity, and will max out the hunger gain from a single potato. Filler is flexible too. I'd recommend this for any character, and definitely for WARLY, who's able to make 2 of these on day 1 with his starting inventory. Stuffed pepper poppers requires 0.5 meat and 1 pepper. Filler can be meat as long as the total meat value doesn't exceed 1.5 and no twigs. You know, 30 healing is decent, and the recipe is flexible and moderately cheap. If you're not WARLY, there's really no other specific use for peppers because you don't want to eat them raw or cooked. If you're WARLY and don't need the heals, just save the peppers for chili flakes. Salsa fresca requires 1 toma root and 1 onion. Filler cannot be twigs, meat, or eggs. The dish is weird because it has the exact same benefits as vegetable stinger. If you have an onion, this is cheaper in terms of veggie requirements. Both dishes are good for sanity restoration. This one just requires 2 specific veggies. So the choice is up to you. If you are WARLY, do not make this dish. Save your tomato and onion for making moqueca. Lastly, vegetable stinger requires 1 ice and 2.5 veggies. One of those veggies must be either asparagus or toma root. Again, same benefits as the salsa. This one needs more veggies but is more flexible with ingredients. If you have asparagus and want health, go with asparagus soup. Otherwise, this recipe is a great way of using mostly generic veggies for sanity restoration. Okay, moving on to WARLY'S exclusive dishes. These must be prepared in a portable crockpot, and as you will see, these recipes range in usefulness from absolutely amazing to offensively underwhelming. Some of these dishes have very unique perks, a couple of which are incredibly useful, and I will start with those recipes. Asparagus gazpacho is made with 2 asparagus and 2 ice. Eating this will lower your temperature considerably for 5 minutes. Goes without saying you do not want to eat this in winter, but feel free to troll Willow as for some bizarre reason you can feed this dish to other players. In short, the recipe is wildly inefficient compared to asparagus soup and vegetable stinger. The only reason you'd ever want to make this is for the cooling effect. But hey, if you happen to stockpile 48 asparagus and 48 ice, congratulations, summer is defeated. Regardless, it's good to carry one around during hot times as an emergency cooling method that actually gives you time to throw your thermal stone into an icebox somewhere. Fish cordon bleu requires 2 fish and 2 frog's legs. Let the 2 merms do their dance of death around the tentacle spike and put their tasty remains to good use. This dish will give you wetness immunity for 5 minutes. You can be soaking wet, and this plate of food will still make you drier than Wickerbottom's sense of humor. Yeah, you're only gonna eat this for the perk. If you don't need it, you're better off using the ingredients for fish sticks, meatballs, even froggy bunwitches. So enjoy the frog rain, you crazy cook. Glowberry mousse requires a total fruit value of 2 and glowberries with a total fruit value of 1. 1 regular glowberry or 2 lessers will fit that requirement, then just add an additional 1 value worth of fruit. Filler cannot be twigs or meat. So this recipe has been through some iterations, but as it currently stands, one of these will give the player a slowly diminishing light radius for 16 minutes. That's a respectable perk to gain from a glowberry and a banana. This dish is obviously very useful in the caves, so I am glad that all the ingredients are available below ground. Grim Galette. One of the more unique recipes to get added. This pie has been flavor-packed with essence from your worst nightmares, plus a potato and onion. The dish when eaten swaps your health and sanity values. Now, there's a lot of strategy potential in there. For one, it synergizes beautifully with the other 2 new DST characters. Wartox can heal himself easily, but his sanity is usually hurting. Conversely, Wormwood can quickly restore his sanity, but has a hard time with health. Grim Galette allows both characters to transfer their restorative powers to the other attribute with ease. And when Warly hands Wormwood 3 to 4 Galette and a stack of seeds, Wormwood can take that as a cue to start chopping living logs off of his body. Please share in the comments what other uses you have found for this dish, as it is sure to synergize with other characters in a variety of ways. Hot Dragon Chili Salad requires a dragon fruit and a pepper. Filler cannot be twigs, meat, or eggs. This dish will raise your temperature considerably for 5 minutes, so yeah, not a summer dish. I really can't recommend it. The benefits are abysmal and far outclassed by Dragon Pie. The heating effect is not really needed in winter considering all the other methods available for warming up. Peppers generally should be used for chili flakes, and dragon fruit should go to Dragon Pie. Volt Goat Chaufroid is a stunning recipe. It needs a Volt Goat horn and 2 honey. Filler can be a twig or anything else besides meat. Eating this dish will convert a player's damage to electric, which by itself will add a 1.5 damage modifier. However, if you are hitting a wet mob, the multiplier increases to 2.5. This stacks with other damage multipliers such as character modifiers and chili flake seasoned foods. For example, Wigfrid has a 1.25 damage modifier, and can combine that with this food for 1.875 multiplier. Or season it with chili flakes for a total 2.25 modifier. As you can see, this dish can potentially do wonders to a character's damage output, and you can even reach a 6 times damage modifier with Mighty Wolfgang by eating a spicy chaufroid and fighting a wet mob. Overpowered much? I really hope Clay doesn't nerf this formula. It has forever changed the way we approach boss fights in this game. Bone Bouillon. Oh my goodness, this recipe. 2 bone shards and an onion. Filler can be any edible ingredient. Oh damn, my dream of being a vagrant on my own endless server will finally come to fruition. I can just wander around, blast all the skeletons, then just borrow a single onion from a farm and throw that junk into a crock pot for 150 hunger and 32 healing? Hell to the ever-loving yes, please may I have more. I'm sorry, this update got me pumped about onions. Onions are the MVP of these new veggies. Between Moqueca, Grim Galette, and now this freaking overpowered dish, I am beside myself. And what does garlic get? Creamy potato puree? Nailing it, garlic. Fresh fruit crepes. 1 butter, 1 honey, and 1.5 fruits. Finally, I can use butter for hunger. Obviously, it's a once in a while dish because you don't get butter all the time, but boy will it be nice when you do. If you absolutely can't find a one value fruit like a pomegranate or watermelon, then I guess you could make waffles? But honestly, this dish is just far superior in every respect. It is so worth your while to keep 1 or 2 fruits in your farms for when you can actually make this dish. Besides, you've been keeping glowberries in a bundling wrap, right? Monster Tartare, a recipe that exists for you to cook if only just to say that you actually did it. 2 monster meat is the only requirement for this abomination of a cuisine. Filler must be edible. But if you're using edible filler, why are you not making meatballs? I suppose it doesn't make a difference to Weber, but you can't make this dish if you're Weber, so yeah. I'm having a hard time imagining any scenario where you would actually want to make this grotesque delicacy. Moqueca! Onion for the win! 1 toma root, 1 onion, and 1 fish. Filler can be anything edible. Finally, a seafood dish to rival fish sticks in terms of health efficiency. What a beautifully balanced recipe that gives a lot of bang for its buck. There's less hunger value than fresh fruit crepes, but the ingredients are way more common and much easier to farm. Definitely one of the strongest crock-pot recipes to see its way into the game. Can you please teach your brothers and sisters how to be a good recipe, little Moqueca? Puffed potato souffle requires 2 potatoes and an egg. Filler cannot be meat or twigs. I mean, for sure it's better than potato puree because eggs are generally easier to get than garlic. But with those 2 potatoes, you can make 2 fancy spiraled tubers for double the amount of sanity and hunger. But Jazzy, I want health! Well, if you have a potato and an egg, add a morsel and you got pierogi, which gives you twice the health. So the only situation in which you would possibly want to make this is when you have absolutely no access to any meat. Does there exist a place in DST where meat is scarce? Because I have yet to find this vegan paradise. That's it for the new dishes. I hope you found this guide useful and informative. Obviously, it took a lot of work to compile all the information. If you don't like skipping around the video to reference these recipes, I've taken the liberty of making a graphic that contains all of these recipes and examples in one convenient place. I will put the link in the description. Feel free to set it as your desktop wallpaper and share with all of your friends playing as Warly. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you like Don't Starve guides and gameplay videos. See you next time!